So UFC 260 this Saturday, main event, Stipe versus Francis. Listen, I'm bummed about Volkanovski and Ortega, but the fight still holds up. Even if it was just Stipe and Francis, I would pay for this. But you have some fun ones. Now your co-main events, Woodley versus Vicente Luque, Sean O'Malley, Tom Samida. All right, I'll pay for it. You can have my money. I'll be watching the Green Room in Miami. Hopefully I definitely see most of the main card. Let's talk about it. You got Stipe versus Francis. I know Stipe's a slight dog. I think he's at plus 110 or plus 105. What's he at, Chin?
Plus 110 versus minus 130 for Francis.
Yeah, minus 130, plus 110. There's just no respect ever his entire career. Just zero from anybody in any facet in this entire MMA world. For whatever reason, Stipe gets no respect. I think what's interesting here, if you click on Francis for me, Chin, and go to his record, everyone goes, Francis, completely different fighter since last time he fought Stipe. Obviously he lost Stipe straight up. Then the loss to Derek Lewis, which is one of the worst fights in UFC history, especially with those two's track record. And then since then, Curtis Blades, and let me see the round. So he goes Curtis Blades, right? First round, 45 seconds. Then Cain Velasquez took him 26 seconds. And then Junior Dos Santos took him a minute. And then Rosenstruck, where he just straight Bart Simpson and windmill punched, missed a bunch of punches and hit him, was 20 seconds. So this narrative of Francis, completely different fighter, he's so much better. Yeah? How so? Yeah? In which way? Well, I think mentally he's stronger, he's working on his wrestling, and he's a better fighter. Yeah? Which fight proved that? Because the longest fight he's had since the horrible outing of Derek Lewis, which is 15 minutes of complete shit. He's gone. The longest he's gone is a minute 11. Where are you getting your facts from? In what sense has he gotten better? In what sense do you think it's going to be a different Francis against Stipe? Well, his wrestling's a lot better, his mentality. Oh, yeah? In what way? I'd love to see it. Well, they say in doesn't count. Well, they say, he's at Extreme Couture, he's in Vegas. I don't give a flying fuck how his training's going. I go based off what happens when the lights are on, the camera's on, and fans are watching, and Scrooge McDuck's in cage side, and there's 3 judges, and there's a referee. I'm going based off that. I'm going based off real game time. And in real game time, there is no evidence he is any different. If anything, he looked worse his last outing against Rosenstruck. Now, do I think he's going to win? I don't know, man. I don't know. Because the one thing we do know is Stipe's gotten a lot older since they fought 3 years ago. They fought January 2018. That was the last UFC fight I've ever been to. It was in Boston. I was doing the Wilbur Theater. It was a great night. Rogan opened up for me. Then we came out, did a Q&A, and then I watched Stipe beat the shit out of Francis Ngannou that Saturday night. So this narrative of he's a completely different fighter, and I know the media wants to portray that and make it seem like he's a different dude. I would love to hear the case for it. I'm all ears, man. Because in what sense? Again, starch Curtis Blades in 45 seconds. Again, if he hits you, you're going fucking out. Now, here's where it gets a little dicey when we're talking about Francis and Stipe. If Francis lands the same shots that he landed against Stipe in the first fight, that fight's going to end. Stipe can't fight like that. But I think Stipe's learned, and you're telling me Stipe hasn't had more impressive wins since that fight? Click on Stipe for me, Chin. Obviously, he's had the 2 fights with DC, who he beat, who's a pretty good fucking wrestler. So he beat Francis, then he lost to DC, which I think that DC loss, which was not that far after the Francis Ngannou fight, where he took serious shots to the face from the hardest puncher the UFC's ever seen and got the win. I think the DC knockout was a result of that. I think he was still concussed. I think there was still residue remaining issues from that fight, and got knocked out with a shot he didn't see coming in the clinch. Therefore, he lost that fight, lost his belt. But then look what happens when he rematched DC. Beat him twice. Pretty convincingly. Beat him twice. So, since Francis, all Stipe's done is fight Daniel Cormier. He was also kind of at the end of his career, towards the tail end of his career. And that's always the knock on Stipe. When you want to say he's the best heavyweight of all time, they're saying, oh, he's fighting these guys that are at the tail end of his career. I guess. DC's pretty fucking good, man. You tell me that DC wouldn't beat Francis? I think you would. That Junior Dos Santos that he faced, that Alistair Overeem, Fabricio, Orlovsky, Mark Hunt, the fight against JDS. The only alarming thing is when you see, I have buddies who are balls deep in the game. You guys would know them. They go, hey, have you seen Stipe in his interviews? I said, no, I don't really watch those interviews. They're boring as shit. Let me guess. He thinks he's going to win? And they said, well, it's just, do you think it's a issue of CT from all the years of fighting, the punishment he's taken, in the JDS fight? He took punishment in the DC fights, and then also obviously the Francis fights. He's taken some trauma as well. Do you think CT's rearing its head? And I don't know, because he talks like Clint Eastwood. When he talks, he's like, yeah, I think I win the fight, and he's a tough guy. So that's how he talks. Steve was a training partner of mine since his first fight in the UFC. Me and him used to fucking go at it, man. He's always been like that. So I don't know. I don't know if it's CT or if it's just the Clint Eastwood syndrome. It's just what he does. I don't know. I know he's getting older. I know he's had some injuries. So when you look at this fight, there's just so many variables where if you're going to bet on it, it's so scary to bet on. But I think your safest bet is betting on the over-under. It's 1.5 rounds. So if this fight is under 2 rounds, who do you think wins? Francis. If you think it goes past 2 rounds, who do you think wins? Stipe. That's what you're betting on. That's what this comes down to. So if you want to get rid of some of those X factors and those unknowns, is Francis a better fighter? Has age caught up with Stipe finally? Bet on the over-under, man, of 1.5 rounds. Because I would be willing to bet a good amount of money. If Stipe doesn't get knocked out in the first round, if this goes in the second, third, fourth, and fifth round, that means he's found a way to avoid those huge fucking fists, those African fists, and he's landing takedowns. He's making a dirty fucking fight, and he's beating Francis up, and he's going to drag him in the later rounds. Because if this goes out of the first round, Stipe's win this fight. Francis ain't knocking him out in the second, third, fourth, or fifth. If you're a Francis fan, you got to hope he gets it done that first round. Because the one thing about Stipe, we know is he great? Is he the best at anything in the heavyweight division? Nope. Is he the best striker? No. Best kicker? No. Best wrestler? Nope. Best jiu-jitsu practitioner? Nope. Best Muay Thai? Nope. Best boxer? Nope. But he does everything well enough with his mindset. He is the champion mindset. And that's what makes Stipe great, is that mindset, man, the work ethic. Because if you're going to go mindset versus mindset, Stipe is the greatest of all time. Him or Kane. But then sometimes the body doesn't hold up. So we just got to wonder, is Stipe's body going to hold up? Because that champion mindset and that champion's heart will beat Francis 100 out of 100 times. Because when the going gets tough, my money's on Stipe. Now, sometimes you fight a fucking dude from Africa who hits like a Mack truck, and it doesn't matter what mindset you're in. So if you're on that side, you're going to bet on Francis. I'm just not willing to jump on the Francis train saying he's this completely different fighter and his wrestling's better and his mindset's better. I don't fucking know, and neither do you guys. Because we haven't seen that. So that narrative does not work for me. Because you're telling me the technique he used in the Rosenstruck fight proved that he's gotten better? That's the last hard evidence we have. I would love for anybody that says Francis is a completely changed fighter to watch that fight and say he's better. Because to me, he's worse. Now, is that just a case he doesn't respect Rosenstruck and was just like, fuck this dude. I'm going to throw caution in the wind and knock this dude out. I'll trade 1 for 1. Maybe just a lack of respect, so we didn't see much from it. But that's all we have, man. And I'm not willing to bet on that. Stipe is a smart fighter. Championship heart, championship mindset. If he can avoid the knockout in the early rounds, 1 and 2, he should win this fight. as a plus 110 underdog. Never gets any respect. X factors are going into that. Can he win the fight? Age, concussions, is CT rear its head? How's he going to look? He's fighting to Francis, who's younger, hits harder, but hasn't been active. Last few fights haven't been great. You know, he just starches guys, so we don't know much about him. Now, Francis is a changed guy, and his wrestling's better, his mindset's better, and his striking's crisper. He should fucking starch Stipe at this point. Starch him. Highlight reel knockout. Like he did against Alistair Overeem. Starch him. We're going to find out. That should help you guys bet, though. I like the over-unders. If you're huge on Francis, then you're taking that under. If you're big on Stipe, you're taking that over.